Good morning. Happy Friday. I hope this message finds you well. Um, I think dignity is so important that I'm actually making it 6 complete conversations with you. So, the first 2 conversations that we had were really about you defining dignity for yourself and then recalling people that you know, either in your real life or through history or in your past, who demonstrated dignity. And now I want to talk a little bit about how dignity works in relationships, because the reality of it is we're all in relationship. And my work as a peace builder means that I'm trying to be in relationship with myself, in an intimate partnership. I'm also trying to guide other people in their intimate partnerships. And ultimately, I'm trying to be a part of a community that honors the dignity and the existence and the worth of other creatures. So I'm going to go back to Dr. Donna Hicks' research for a minute and share with you a little more in depth around the meaning of dignity and what it looks like in relationship. And she points out 10 key elements of dignity. I'm going to touch on the first 5 or 6, and then in the next video, I'll touch on the last 4. And then begin to touch on how our dignity becomes unraveled and what we can do to prevent that. So the first key element of dignity involves honoring and acceptance another human being. I got to put my new eyes on in order to see what she was talking about. But the 10 essential elements of dignity, the first one is acceptance of identity. And in that definition, she reminds us that we neither approach people as inferior nor superior to us, that we navigate a world in which all people are important. And what that might look like is you, me, all of us being able to be engaged in relationships with everyone from the man or woman who cleans toilets and mops floors to the President of the United States. We honor that no one is above us, no one is below us, but everyone is important. So the second element of dignity speaks of inclusion. If we can honor that everyone has value, then certainly that also means that we must include them. And if I refer back to how these 2 elements relate to what I shared about my grandmother, when she was alive, she was in a wheelchair and she was incontinent and she was older and her skin was brown and she suffered on the outer in many, many ways. And there were many people who had the tendency to exclude her from the conversation. And I can recall many, many times when I would notice that she was being dismissed, in which I would have to look at people and say, oh, are you trying to refer to her health issues without looking at her? Because she understands you. And they would say, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, talk to this person. Talk to this human being. Or there'd be times where even people in my own family would be engaged in a joke and laughing and having a good time and would miss the fact that she was sitting right there in the room. But there she would be, calm, cool, collected, magnificent. So when we think about honoring another person's dignity, we have to include them in the conversation. And I want you to realize that what I'm saying about how people attempted to undermine my grandmother's dignity, they actually didn't. They undermined their own dignity by refusing to acknowledge her. Her self-wealth, her self-worth was completely intact the entire time. So when we want to honor other people's dignity, we accept them as they are. We include them in conversations, and we allow them to be safe. Safety is a key element. If there's no safety, then our sympathetic nervous system is in charge of our communication. And when that part of our nervous system is in charge of our communication, our bodies are telling our minds that we're in danger. When people feel safe, they're able to share and speak from the heart in a whole new way. And then we, those of us who are striving to honor dignity, we acknowledge people sharing, whether we agree or disagree. And that's a key element. When you choose to honor a person's dignity, it doesn't matter whether you agree or disagree with them. What you're doing is you're acknowledging that they have something to say. And when you can do that, then you can have as many disagreements as you want, as you need, and still manage to be in relationship. So as we step into the weekend, I want you to think about all the ways that you, this one single person, can impact our world through acceptance of the myriad of differences that you will experience this weekend, even with people who look just like you on the outside, even with people who might have voted for the same presidential candidate as you, even people who have the same career path as you, even people who you sleep next to. That you acknowledge the differences. I want you to take a few moments this weekend, and include people who you have normally excluded. Take a moment and think about how you can allow people of all ages to be safe in your presence. And finally, think about how you can acknowledge the value and the worth of another human being. And most of all, while you're doing all this work of honoring other people's dignity, please remember to take a bit and put it in here for yourself. So I welcome you to comment on what this conversation about dignity is doing for you, with you, to you, whether you've been able to be impactful in the world in the largest or the smallest of ways. And let's keep talking about this. Our whole world is craving your input in this critical conversation. I wish you peace. I wish you love. I wish you a dignified weekend. Bye.